Hey there, y'all. I'm Juliette Miranda, and welcome to the Halloween edition of Bourbon Soak Live. Not that it looks like Halloween around here or anything.
Oh, not around here.
No, I dress like this every day.
You pretty much do.
So I haven't decided if I am a groupie zombie or just a very efficient groupie who got all the way to the top.
Hard to say.
Right? I'm an ambitious groupie.
You put the horror in horror.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, David, the producer, is just so sweet. How's it going, David, the producer?
It's going great. Happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you.
Cheers.
Happy almost Halloween, y'all.
Almost. Getting close. Got my costume all picked out. I am ready to go.
Yeah, so y'all, David, the producer, and I are going to a Halloween party on Thursday night, and it is 80s themed, which clearly I have zero issues with, but David, the producer, will be dressing like Ferris Bueller.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait for this. And yes, there will be photos, I promise. So let's say hello to a couple of the people who have been hanging out with the chat. I know Bob's Adventure was here first, so of course he gets the cheers and gold star. Mad Kiwi's been bantering back and forth. Y'all, make sure you say hello. We're going to be talking all things Halloween tonight. Favorite Halloween movies, favorite scary music, Halloween experiences, scary, fun, and otherwise. And I've been looking forward to this all week.
It's the Horrorween special.
Although all week it's Monday, so it's only really been like a couple of hours that I've been looking forward to this.
I know. So true.
No, I just have a huge thing for Halloween. So this is all good, y'all.
Yeah, loving it. We're, besides for just the party on Thursday that we're going to, there is also a quasi party at the bar on Friday.
Yeah, New Orleans does all sorts of things for Halloween. A lot of them this year are kind of unofficial.
Subdued.
Under the radar, if you will. But we do know that a couple of places are having dress-up nights. And I know on Saturday, I mean, my God, Halloween on a Saturday with a full moon, and the time changes. So it's going to be a hell of a night.
Absolutely. Hey, speaking, I just noticed on your shirt, the shirt that you're wearing. Do you want to give a shout out to those folks?
Yeah. So my little groupie shirt here is actually one that I did a little bit of a cut and tear job from our favorite bar here in New Orleans. It is called Sylvain. And y'all, it is the perfect drinking establishment. It's dark. They play loud rock and roll music. The bartenders are the coolest people in all of New Orleans, truly. Like, they make killer cocktails. They know how to hang. And our favorite bartender frequently does shots of Old Granddad with us, which, by the way, is what I'm drinking tonight. My bourbon of choice is Old Granddad 114. And this is one of those old, reliable bourbons that I just can't shake. I love it so very much. It's got this perfect blend. So it's a high corn, high rye bourbon. And I like to call it what you drink when you want to throw furniture out the window, because the 114 proof is potent shit, y'all, but it tastes delicious.
It's really inexpensive too.
You get that burn from the 114 proof going on in here, but then it just kind of mellows out a little bit, and you get all of the bourbon flavor. You get that kind of, I don't know, the vanilla notes. You get a little bit of caramel. That corn makes it sweet. And David, the producer, I see there's chat going on, but I can't see it on my monitor.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why it's not refreshing on the other side. So why don't we go way, 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 way back at the top here? And
I can't read any of those, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
David, the producer, is going to have to lead the chat. Y'all, my monitor seems to have gone dead in the corner here.
Ginger's here. She says hello. Wes is here. And let's see. Oh, well, Ginger says, hi, spoopy people. Guardian of Chaos is here.
Yay.
Says hey to both of us. Looking forward to the distraction tonight.
Fantastic.
We have Jelly Duck here in the house, which is awesome.
Awesome. Cheers. Thanks for being here.
Roy, Container Man, says hello, Redhead and David.
Oh, our favorite Container Man. Awesome to see you.
Bob says nice makeup.
Why, thank you. I did it myself.
Rex Gunn says in and out for a few, putting the kiddos to bed.
Ah,
There
well,
you go. That's a job all in itself.
glad you are able to stop in and say hello.
Wes says naughty groupie. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Jelly Duck says, are you pretending to be Elvira, Mistress of the Dark?
You know, I don't have quite the figure to pull Elvira off, so I got to work with what I have.
You need a bigger rack. She's got a monstrous rack.
She does. But, you know, I got the hair. I can do groupie hair.
Yeah. Dave Hodge is in the house. He says, hey.
Hello, Dave Hodge. Thank you for joining us live. Finally, I see you in the comments all the time, but I have not seen you in the chat. So, yay, you.
Have Seabart 1987 in the house. And he says Michael Jackson from Thriller, which we will be getting to scary songs and soundtracks in a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we do that, let me give you a quick reminder of all the housekeeping shit. Like the fucking channel and subscribe to it. Beyond that.
That's right. Well, actually, hit the like button.
Yes, hit that thing.
Subscribe if you're not subscribed.
Not hard.
And also share on social media if you can.
Oh, that's a good thing too. And speaking of social media, what do you say we talk a little bit about what hashtag Bourbon Soak Live is? This is our little getting to know you routine. Go on to the Twitter. Snap a photo of yourself, preferably in costume if you have one. Take a photo of what you're drinking, make a meme if you are our meme queen like Ginger, and post it on Twitter using hashtag Bourbon Soaked Live. It's not complicated. Make sure you spell bourbon correctly also. That's kind of a sticking point.
That's right. Do you want to show the one that we got already
Rex
earlier?
Gunn has something that he's drinking that he shared with us just a couple minutes earlier. And he's going in for one of the Japanese whiskeys tonight.
Yeah, fancy.
Look at you, fancy pants.
Yeah, I went with the Suntory whiskey brand of Toki.
Now, I haven't had that one, and I think he was saying in the comments that it's kind of harsh. I'm not incredibly familiar with the Japanese whiskeys. It just hasn't been something that I've kind of felt the need to dial into. But I do hear that they can be a little harsh sometimes. So, I don't know. I'm just going to have to suck it back and deal with it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I know the old granddad. It's not harsh at all, but like I said, it's potent. So if I'm, asleep by the end of the show, just go with it.
Yeah. And by the way, Ginger has already stated that Die Hard's her favorite Halloween movie.
Oh my God. I'm so over fucking Die Hard. It just, it's not a Christmas movie. It's not a Halloween movie. It's just an action movie. So no, it's not something I'm going to even consider talking about tonight.
Oh, look at you, fancy pants.
Yeah, that's right. Damn it. It's my show. I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. And I'm thinking we start off tonight by talking about horror movies. And it's a topic near and dear to my heart. And I wanted to bring up one in particular that I just watched last night. It was on Shudder, and it's called The Cleansing Hour. It is another possession exorcism movie, but it has a really cool twist. It's kind of a bogus exorcist who has a YouTube show who, what do you know, gets a real possessed person in his chair. And it just plays out really well. It's got some excellent violence in it, really tight, good gore. And it works almost like a 3-act play because it takes place in one setting. So it relies very heavily on dialogue. There's a little bit of monologuing, but otherwise it's stellar. So I highly recommend it. What you got going on, David, the producer? I see all sorts of buttons being pressed.
Well, I'm just trying to get you into a 2-screen mode here. You know how you like that shit.
I do, but I see my chat still isn't up down there.
Yeah, hold please.
Produce something.
Oh, I'm going to produce something, all right.
Y'all, make sure in the comments they're on their way up. I know I will be able to get to them personally in just a couple of minutes here. Oh, there they are.
You got lots of them.
Oh, I found my comments. Great. So let's talk horror movies.
Oh, damn it.
David, the producer.
I'll get this right one time.
There it is.
I know. Give me a moment.
Oh,
Give me a
come
second.
on. Jimmy C has just joined us. Cheers to you.
There you go. Okay. we have a lot of comments to catch up on here. So you want to
Halted
go
in
through
Montreal is here. Nice to see you tonight, sir.
He says, "Sup fuckers." Okay.
All right, well, sup fucker.
There you go. We got Ginger. Okay, you can read them from there, right?
All right. Well, okay. So what we're going to do, I see a whole lot of horror movies coming up here in the chat. Let's organize our thoughts a little bit so we can be a little bit more direct in our topics here. What do you say we open and talk about our favorite slashers first? And then we'll get to, creature features and, vampires and zombies and all that shit. But first, let's talk slashers. Hands down for me, my favorite is the Candyman. Tony Todd is fucking badass as that Candyman. I mean, just talk about a cool, sexy villain. I dig him.
I dig that movie, and you're the one who turned me on to it because I was never I knew of Candyman, but I didn't know much about it other than being from Chicago, that it was filmed in the Chicago projects.
Yeah.
So I didn't know much about it. But then when you turn me on to it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a pretty badass movie.
It's the perfect combination of just beautiful cinematography, great violence. I could use a little more of it. It's a little light on some of the gore, but otherwise it's stellar.
Oh, and Seabart's already messing. He's already saying Candyman.
That's 3. All right. Who's going to give me the next 2? Because I sure as fuck am not going to do it. Well, hang on. My hair is falling.
And Jimmy C says Juliette is looking marvelous tonight.
Thank you. Doing my, angry slasher groupie. I got nothing.
Well, I got a good slasher movie for you because always just been one of my favorites. And that's, there's the obvious ones, but I got to go Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh my God. That is such a great, great movie. And what I love about it in particular is that it feels so real and gritty. The 70s knew how to do a good grindhouse kind of horror movie.
It was filmed very gritty.
It is, yeah.
It's very almost home movie like.
Exactly. Well, and that was part of the cinematography is that it, and I think even the original Nightmare, or not Nightmare, Night of the Living Dead has that same feel where it's almost like a documentary. And you're watching all of this unfold going, Jesus Christ, am I actively participating in somebody's death? It's cool.
Ginger says, Dude Bro Party Massacre 3 is great.
But I haven't seen 1 and 2, Ginger. I'm going to be lost. Actually, that brings up the idea of the horror comedy. Now, personally, I'm not a huge fan of the horror comedy unless it's done well.
You got to back up to slashers. You know how many great slasher movies there are? You were totally blown by
I'm
them.
Sorry, some Ginger took me off topic. I was just going with the flow here. We have a chat.
You totally forgot about Halloween.
Okay.
Friday the 13th. Hellraiser.
Yes. Okay. So I also noticed that Malton in Montreal was talking about Halloween Part 4. And is that the one? That's the one with the little girl who just comes out of the mental hospital, the little brown-haired chick. I remember seeing that in the theater. And the fucking Halloween movies, I love the first 2. But after that, I feel like they just kind of lose momentum a little bit. And I feel like a traitor to horror fans everywhere by saying that. But personally, they never really rose to the occasion, I guess.
I got to agree with you. 1 and 2 were great. I heard that the most recent one where Jamie Lee Curtis comes back is pretty decent.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't seen any of the very, very, very new Halloween reboots.
Right. We haven't seen that one yet, so can't say that. Oh, and Swami says he was 7 when he saw it.
Yeah, it's funny how different the movies feel now versus when you see them when you're younger. I have that affection for 80s horror movies in general. I loved them, and I look at them now, and I'm like, oh my God, this movie meant everything to me. And then I will rewatch it, and I'll be like, oh, I can't even get through this anymore. It's so bad.
All right, now I have to ask you, before we get into the comedic ones, because I have a whole bunch that I love in the comedy horror kind of genre or subgenre, what about the creature features?
Oh, okay. So hang on. I have to address one thing that I see in the
Oh, go
chat
ahead.
here about
Yep.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh,
Rob
hell yeah.
Zombie.
Hell yeah.
Rob Zombie, as far as I'm concerned, has made 2 outstanding horror movies, 1 mediocre horror movie, and the rest are swill.
Then name them.
The outstanding horror movies are House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects.
Hell yeah.
The mediocre one is 31. The rest, swill.
Yeah. What's that goat one?
The Witches of Salem.
Oh, that was so bad.
I wanted to love that movie. I really did, because I love a good witchcraft movie. But come on, it's so brooding and moody, and it goes nowhere. It's painful to watch. It really is. And I want to love Rob Zombie so badly. I do, and I can't.
Wes says Texas Chainsaw. Yep, as we were talking, a great movie. Now there's Seabart says Run Rabbit Run.
Yeah,
do you know what that is?
I do. It's on my list of movies to watch, actually.
Okay.
I have not seen it, but I do hear very interesting things about it.
Okay.
So now we'll go on to the creature feature, as you were saying, David, the producer.
Yes.
I love a good shark movie, but the ones I like are the ones you don't like. Like 47 Meters Down, I think is excellent.
I just thought it was okay.
Surprisingly good.
That was okay. You know what? I'll take Jaws every day. Every
Jaws
single day.
is a great movie. It
Hands
is.
down, best shark movie that ever was,
I even
ever
like-
will be. No one will top Jaws ever.
Even the sequels are pretty good with Jaws. Like, you know what you're going to get. It's an angry shark swimming around and murdering people. But it's always fun. Like killer alligators. Who doesn't love a good killer alligator?
See, I think of the creature feature movies as the ones like The Wolfman, right?
Werewolves are a genre unto themselves.
And Creature of the Black Lagoon.
That's a creature. That's a creature feature.
Okay. I just want to know where the genre starts and stops.
Well, it's very subjective, of course.
All right. Oh, humans, they all run like scared little rabbits run, rabbit run. Song used from a Thousand Corpses.
It's also a movie.
Or he says 100 corpses, but I think he...
No, of course, it's 1,000 corpses.
Yeah, I meant 1,000. Okay,
know.
got it. Jelly Duck says Jaws is great. Yes,
Will
it is. It holds up.
Will is calling out the movie Rubber about the giant tire that murders people. Fucking awesome movie. Okay, now that's the perfect combination of humor and horror.
Yes.
Like, you get it. It's absurdist comedy. That's why I like movies like Black Sheep, with the killer sheep that eat people, or Zombievers.
Zombievers with Bill Burr. Yeah. That's great movie. Zombiever is very funny.
It's fucking hot, too. I mean, seeing a chick get eaten to death by beavers.
And you know what? I consider, even though it does have some scary parts, it's, I think, more of a comedic movie, and that's Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, I wouldn't qualify as a horror comedy.
Really?
No. It's a little too serious for that. It has elements of humor to it, but
a lot of them, though.
You look at movies that are specifically comedy driven that are horror, something like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, or even I find Shaun of the Dead pretty funny too.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah, has its moments. And Swami says anything with Oliver Plath is worth watching. I don't know who that is.
I don't
Oliver
know.
Plath?
I don't know where that's going.
No, I don't know who that is. Wes says Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That's one of those 80s movies that you watch for the pure schlock factor. It's like watching Ghoulies or Critters. Now, of them all, I think Critters is hands down the best because, well, number one, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
Why are you giving me that look?
Because I wasn't a big fan of that movie.
Oh, Critters is the perfect movie. You've got a alien that morphs into a rock star on Earth who runs around blowing up these little wheelie creature things with fangs and spikes and everything that run around murdering people. It's great.
Yep.
It's pure fun for the whole family.
Yeah. RWC Toyman's in the house, says hello, Juliette.
Hey, Toy Man.
And let's see, Jelly Duck says, oh, well, actually, I should go up a couple. Container Man says Amityville Horror, which is a solid horror movie. The first one.
No.
I think the first one, I think it's good. It doesn't hold up so well.
It's fine. My problem with it is that it just isn't scary enough. It doesn't go far enough. There are elements to it that are wonderful, but I think it was kind of rushed to screen based off of the success of, the Warrens investigating the house and everything, and it being in the news and all of that. I'll tell you what's even more scary than the Amityville is the interview that one of the Lutz kids did later on in life, talking about his experiences there, because he's so damaged and you can't really tell what damaged him, but hearing him recount these experiences, now that's fucking creepy.
Yep. Bob's Adventure says Puppet Master.
I love Puppet Master. That's another 80s horror movie that totally holds up. And what's great is all the sequels. They have, The Littlest Reich that just came out.
That's right.
I won't use the word because I'm sure YouTube will shut me down, but those bad German guys, well, it kind of, makes fun of that whole thing. And it's really funny.
Swami agrees with you 100%. Amityville Horror is overrated.
Yes.
And the Toy Man calls out your scariest movie ever.
The scariest movie that I have ever seen, hands down, that still kind of sits with me, is The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because I saw it when I was a very young child. I was maybe 5 or 6. And it scared me on so many different levels. I mean, one being the fact that, it was a girl, and a young girl at that, who's going through something she has zero control over. And then there's the medical aspect of it. And then there's just the demon aspect of it. The whole movie is terrifying on every level. And I know watching it now, it definitely is starting to show its age a little bit. It doesn't feel quite as intense when I've seen so much more since then, but it's still a solid movie.
And we have here with Wes, he says, scary movie, Deliverance. I have to agree with him. That one scene, there's nothing scarier than being bent over the log in the back of the woods.
All right, I'll give you that. Yeah, I guess I look at that more as a thriller than I do a horror movie.
It's not a real horror movie. No.
But if you want a horror movie in a similar vein, Last House on the Left, the original.
Yeah, well, that has an incredibly...
that's everything.
Visceral rape scene. That's absolutely. Like, whoa. That shocked people when that movie came out.
It did, and that's why I love it. I love exploitation movies, especially ones like that, which are just so disturbingly real. It's an interesting process to go through watching them.
Yep. Oh, and Bob's Adventures calls out, I thought Blair Witch was way overrated. I have to agree.
Everybody feels that way now. But when it came out, y'all were sucked into it, calling it the scariest thing you'd ever seen.
What pisses me off most about that movie is it started the shaky camera
the found footage genre. Yes.
And it got beaten to death movie over movie over movie. And it was like, oh, please stop it. But one film that did it right?
Paranormal Activity.
Sinister
only integrated aspects of it into the film.
But that's why they did it right. It wasn't the whole damn movie.
Very true. And I love Sinister. I think that is such a standout horror movie.
Oh my God. Sinister was great.
You've got the terrifying entity demon thing. You've got these incredibly disturbing death scenes that you have to watch on these reel-to-reel projection, found footage things. It works on every level. And I even like, what's his name? Ethan Hawke? Is that?
Yeah, Ethan Hawke. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who started in the first one.
He's excellent.
And actually the second one too. And Gemma's Journey Grace is here. Says,
hey, Gemma.
Hey to everyone. And Malton in Montreal says The Hills Have Eyes, the remake, is so much better than the original. Totally agree.
Yeah, I think they're both on equal ground because, the original obviously set the story. And the remake takes it into a far more grisly direction. And you get a little bit more backstory on the mutants, too, which is just hands down awesome. Solid movie.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, and Seabart says Pet Cemetery.
Oh, Zelda, the twisted sister who's locked in her bedroom. Yeah, she creeped me out the first couple of times I watched that.
And Wes says The Cell. Do you know that?
Yeah. Isn't that with, isn't Selma Hayek in that?
I don't know. I don't
or
recall
Jennifer Lopez, maybe? I don't know.
I don't recall seeing The Cell. Now, see, Container Man calls out a movie that it wasn't considered to be horror, but there were some scenes in there that scared the hell out of a lot of kids, which is Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yes, and the little monkeys flying around.
That scared the shit. And the tornado scene scared the shit out of kids too.
Yeah, that never scared me.
And the witch scene. Some of the witch scenes were kind of scary.
I mean, when you see The Exorcist before you see The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Everything else just kind of pales in comparison.
You led a tortured childhood. That's not my fault.
It was a delightful childhood.
Yeah. Oh, and everyone's calling out Jennifer Lopez in the Cell.
It's Jennifer Lopez. Okay, and doesn't it have almost like a BDSM vibe to it?
The Cell?
And I
Don't
believe
know.
it's also based off of a Stephen King story.
And Wes says it's a psychological horror.
Yes, I recall having seen it, but I don't recall it.
Well, and speaking of psychological horrors, Silence of the Lambs, great movie.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Thriller, not horror, but
Psychological horror, I think it straddles the line. Because
you
there
know,
were some
that's such
scenes
a
in there.
gray area, you know, and then you get people trying to claim everything as a horror movie at that point. You know, there's got to be a line.
Psychological horror, I think. Well, look at all the genres or subgenres we talked about. There's slasher movies, creature features, possession movies, vampire movies,
And
ghost
they have
movies.
distinct elements of horror versus dread. And there's a huge difference there. These horror movies are meant to operate on a lot of different levels, not just on the fear. It's also gore. You know, it's extreme acts of violence. There's a lot going on in a horror movie versus the drama surrounding more of a thriller.
I think it
Or I'm
contains
talking
elements
out
of
of my
both.
ass.
No, you have some valid points, but you're wrong. Anyway, Toyman says Evil Dead was great, or a good movie. I thought it was a great movie.
Evil Dead is a fun movie. The whole trilogy. Now, Evil Dead 2 is my favorite.
I love Bruce Campbell. I just think he could do no wrong.
Bruce Campbell is hysterical, although if you've ever seen Bubba Hotep, you would know that he absolutely can't do wrong. And it would be that movie.
Yep. Oh, and Will calls out Eight-Legged Freaks, which my friend was actually in that movie.
Fun movie. Oh, who's that?
You know my buddy, the old drummer?
Oh my God, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. He's got not a big part in it, but he's in it. Yeah.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah. Who doesn't love big, gigantic spiders running around?
That's right. And that is actually a very bad movie.
Yeah, it's not a great movie at all, but.
And Wes says Ghost Dad, which he was just kidding, of course. But yes, Ghost Dad was an awful movie.
Awful movie.
Ugh.
Now, what are y'all feelings about the movie, the original Poltergeist?
When it came out, I thought it was that bedroom scene with the doll scared the shit out of me.
Clown.
Yeah, the clown.
I just watched it. You were sleeping. And I still think today that movie holds up. Now, it does have some slightly cheesier elements to it, but the movie itself is so well done with excellent acting. You know, Jo Beth Williams and Craig T. Nelson and Heather O'Rourke. It's a solid movie. I mean, really, you've got this family unit who really just love each other being torn apart by entities that they can't control. And it's really kind of fucked up.
Oh, it totally is. It really is. Now, there are some scenes that are very Spielberg-ish.
Well, because Spielberg was, you know, sort of the director of that movie.
I know. And there's a lot of convenient things like the Indian burial ground. And
well, how do you think
blah,
a haunting
blah.
happens?
I get it.
You move the headstones.
I get it.
Collect the bodies. Of course it's haunted.
And Wes says dolls suck. Yeah, they can be scary in movies.
Oh, I love scary dolls.
We just saw it's a Halloween movie, but it's not scary per se. But I thought it was relatively entertaining, which was Goosebumps 2.
Oh, Goosebumps. Yeah.
It's a kid's movie.
It's a kid's movie, but I prefer it over something like Hocus Pocus, which kind of annoys me.
Yeah, you're one of the few.
I know. This movie is beloved.
Most girls like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, it annoys the fuck out of me. So taking something like Goosebumps, which has, you know, kind of a cool angle to it. You know, it's the story that kind of writes itself. It's, I don't know, I like it. And I also liked Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I thought that was well done also.
Yeah.
I see our friends from Echoplex Media have joined us.
Dave's in the house. Hey.
Excellent to see you here tonight.
Great to see you, Dave.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers to you.
Well, we're talking all things Halloween, And I think before we move along to the next subject, we do need to talk about the two topics that haven't been covered yet in horror movies, and that would be vampires and zombies.
You know what? Show me one good vampire
The
movie.
Lost Boys.
Nope.
How can you not like The Lost Boys?
Never did. Thought it was the hokiest thing ever.
It's not hokey
It was like
at
taking
all.
a bunch of teen idols from the 80s, stuffed them into a movie, threw cool black jackets on them, and hung them from a roof. That
Okay,
movie
somebody
sucked
in the chat needs to
balls.
back me up on The Lost Boys. I love The Lost Boys. It's cool. It's funny. It's scary. It's got vampires, but they're not like moody, brooding vampires. They're cool, angry vampires.
You can't convince me that Kiefer Sutherland is a vampire. Sorry.
Oh, I buy him as a vampire.
Oh,
They're maggots. They're maggots.
Oh, awful movie. Oh, see, Dave is already disagreeing with me. He says, I loved it when I was a kid.
Oh,
see?
stop, y'all. See, look, Lost Boys was good, says Container Man.
They just
Thank
want to
you.
disagree with me.
I know. See, I win just because I'm pretty.
You win just on, well, we'll call it default.
We'll call it 80s hair.
Ginger says True Blood.
True Blood. I have not seen True Blood, but I do know of it.
Well, it was filmed right here in New Orleans.
True.
Yeah, we
True.
should watch that.
You know what's not bad is Blade. I don't mind Blade.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's fine.
But I can't think of any good vampire movies.
I know,
there
I'm
is
trying
not
to-
one that I actually like.
Oh, no, there is a good one. It's called Let the Right One In.
Don't
No,
know.
and
it.
I'm talking the original one, not the remake of it. I believe it's either a Swedish movie. I think it's Swedish, but it's a little more moody and brooding, but it isn't sparkly, which is definitely a plus.
Right. Well, and Dave says we're all around the same age-ish. I don't know if it holds up as adults. And by the way, it doesn't, Dave. But I remember me and a friend renting it and watching it 4 times in a weekend. Yeah, as a kid, I could totally see that. Pixel P is here. Great to see you.
Hello. Cheers to you. We're
Cheers.
talking horror movies now. And I want to, before we move on, I do want to talk about zombies because you can't have horror without zombies. And I think the best zombie movie I've seen in quite some time would be Train to Busan.
Oh, that was good.
Good, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have to give that to you. I do like, and you don't like fast zombie movies.
No, because they're not zombies.
Well, I like fast
There is a
zombies.
distinction between people who have a virus and people who are reanimated corpses. And reanimated corpses do not have superpowers.
I thought that 28 Days Later.
Fuck 28 Days Later.
I know you don't like it.
I
I
hate
like
that
it.
movie.
I like, I
Ugh.
liked it. It's that post-apocalyptic real vibe.
Well, and I
that
get
I
it.
got.
But what annoys me about it is that it's never the zombie or whatever you want to call them that you're terrified of. It's humanity.
There you go. Oh, great. A whole bunch of great movies being called out here. So
From Dusk Till Dawn.
From Dusk Till
Great
Dawn.
vampire movie. Thank you,
All right.
Echoplex.
You know what? And Gemma called it out as well. I gotta say, that is a great vampire movie.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
is.
There
It
is
is.
one.
It is. And I even like Quentin Tarantino's acting in that movie.
To a certain degree.
Although
He does
Quentin
play a great
Tarantino cannot
creep.
act his way out of a paper fucking bag.
I know, but he does play a good creep though.
What have we got going here?
One Cut of the Dead and Train to Busan. Oh, see, Ginger
Yeah.
already called out the Train to Busan.
Yeah,
a great
exactly.
movie.
Those are all good. And I will say that of the whole Night of the Living Dead series, my favorite one is the original Dawn of the Dead. That's everything that a zombie movie needs to be. It's got great zombies. It's got a little bit of social commentary to it, but not, heavy-handed or anything. And it's got a heroine, actually, a woman who survives at the very end, which you don't often see in that kind of movie from the 70s.
And I got to go back to Shaun of the Dead. Great zombie movie. I thought it was funny.
Funny, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There wasn't a funny horror movie for quite some time before that one came out. He took a lot of chances doing that, I thought.
You know what a good horror comedy is? Satanic Panic.
I never even heard of that.
Well, you did. You started watching it and then you fell asleep.
Well, that means I did not like it.
No, it means you were tired.
Hey, by the way, Rex Gunn in the house. He says,
Hello, Rex.
Blade 1, yes. 2 and 3, not a chance.
And Jem is calling out the original Dracula, which is classic. I mean, Bela Lugosi as Dracula, just a sexy, cool guy playing a great romantic role. I don't actually look at it as a horror movie. I look at it as a romance, really, when Bela Lugosi's in it.
Right. And Swami agrees with you that 28 Days Later is a good movie, but not zombies.
See? Not zombies.
Well, they might be reanimated.
They're angry, sick people.
Angry, sick people. Pixelpia says that I just watched Nosferatu, the original vampire movie, and loved it. Boy, that's 1930.
Oh, that's old school. Yeah.
Yeah, that goes back pretty far. I've seen little clips of the original. I never watched it all the way through.
Well, looking at the classic black and white horror movies, there are some great ones. And for me personally, I mean, it goes back to Shirley Jackson's The Haunting. That is just a solid ghost movie that relies more on sound and shadows to scare you versus any sort of terrifying, pop out of the closet move.
Yep. Agreed. And then Gemma says Dracula. I'm guessing she means the original, which is Bela Lugosi.
What we were just talking about.
Yeah, I know. But
were you there?
No, I was looking at some of the other chat pieces. So, I'm an asshole. Malton in Montreal calls out Leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
That's an awful movie. What a piece of shit.
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, God. I forgot she was in that.
Fucking horrible.
Yeah. Dave calls out Evil Dead. Yeah. And we talked about Evil Dead earlier.
Yes.
It is an awesome, awesome movie. And you know what? The TV show was even good. The one that Bruce Campbell did as the extension to that?
Oh, that's right. I forgot it. Well, it started off good. And then it just became kind of a caricature of itself. It was a little annoying from there. And I see Malton in Montreal is calling out The Brood.
I remember seeing that in the theater.
The Brood? Is that Cronenberg? Or am I out of my mind? I feel like that's Cronenberg.
I don't know if it's Cronenberg.
It's with the little guys.
Yeah.
The little guys who
Good
run around.
movie.
It's a funny movie.
I know. Swami also says The Howling.
The Howling. See, my thing with werewolves, I don't know. I'm just not a werewolf fan. I mean, aside from American Werewolf in London, but even that is just sort of a tragic story. None of these people want to be werewolves unless it's dog soldiers, in which case they're pretty cool with it. But, you get bitten, then you've got to change into this thing and murder things and then go back to being a human. It's a tragic story.
And Dave says the best thing about Bruce Campbell, or the best thing Bruce Campbell ever did, was Burn Notice. And I will fight you if you disagree with me. I've never seen Burn Notice. I got to check it out.
It's good. It's fine.
Oh, boy. Dave's going to fight you.
Well, I think we should also mention extreme gore movies just because I love them so very much. And I have two hands down favorites, and they both come from France, actually. One is Inside, and the other is Martyrs. I don't think you've seen either of those.
No.
I think I deliberately watched those without you so you wouldn't think less of me for liking them.
Well, I like the gore movies I like are, kind of more in the Hostel vein.
Ah, yes. Hostel's a good one. And I just rewatched Green Inferno. It's the second time I've seen it. The first time I saw it was in the theater. I hated it. I was so pissed off at Eli Roth for making it because it didn't go far enough. I watched again. I didn't hate it as much as I did, but I still believe that if you're going to tribute Cannibal Holocaust, the greatest, bone cruncher ever made, you gotta go all out.
Swami says Hostel is snuff porn. No,
okay, well, what? I love snuff porn. I really do. The Guinea Pig series. You want to talk about movies that are as fucked up as you get. The very first guinea pig movie, The Devil's Experiment, actually was investigated by the FBI because they thought it was literally a snuff movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was. Who was it? It was I think it was Rob Lowe was watching it, and he was terrified. So he called the FBI and said, "Oh, you guys need to see this because I think they're murdering people and selling it." Oh, it's just a movie.
Larry Caracciolo is in the house. He says, I can't get past the horror of creature features. I'm a sissy.
So what do you say? We move this along a little bit and talk about scary songs.
Scary. What do you mean by scary songs? I don't think songs are scary. I think scary. I think that there's themes of movies that are scary, that are thematic.
Well, it could be all of it. So I was going in a couple of different directions with this, and I wanted to call it a couple of videos that I'd seen in particular that are kind of fun, you know, and thinking of like Thriller by Michael Jackson.
You mean scary themed songs?
Yeah, Halloween style songs.
See, because when you said scary songs, what I thought about
you thought of
was
like the Halloween theme
Halloween
music. Well, that
theme.
counts too. That counts too.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean that's such a haunting, just couple of notes. I mean, it's barely a song.
John Carpenter was a genius when it came to soundtracks in the 80s, but I don't actually think Halloween is his most scariest theme music. I actually think the theme music from the movie The Fog is even scarier.
Really?
I do. It's more haunting and it kind of grows. There's just something about it that just, it's very eerie. I love it.
Huh. Okay, wait, I'm just...
Did my chat crash on me again?
Yeah, it did. So
super.
Well, everyone's still chatting, and I can see it in here. You just
I
can't
know
see
it's
it
just
your
on my
screen.
monitor. I don't know what's going on with my monitor today.
You can't see your monitor. That's all right.
In that case, I'm going to ramble on about the very first time I saw Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's the perfect combination of like campy, and I know I watch it around Halloween because I consider it a Halloween movie, although I wouldn't call it a horror movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Okay, so here's a couple I'm going to call out here for you if you haven't seen them. Rebels Camp Frankenstein. It's a great bit of funk. Let's see what else we have here. The Meteors. Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, I know that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Wes wrote and says the last song in Saw, which I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
We'll have to look that up. Oh, he says I want to play a game. That I think that's
okay, got it.
the name of the song. The Misfits, I Want Your Skull.
Okay, that might be the coolest name of a song ever.
And Ginger says, Willie says, Nature Trail to Hell in 3D.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, and Leb D says Hatchet.
Oh, you mean the movie Hatchet?
Yeah, Hatchet's a great.
Yes. Movie. Oh my God. Yeah. I think, no, what did we just watch? Victor Crowley. I think it's based on the same thing.
That's okay, Lev. You know, we're talking both movies and songs. No
you know, we're pretty free range here. And if something takes us off topic, we're happy to crawl down into that wormhole. I am anyway. I don't know about David, the producer back there.
Well, if you're talking about songs, I think you have to go back to Jaws, that
creepy sort of just like inching forward movie. Yeah.
It's just so horrifying.
It is.
I remember when that girl was in the water and you heard that song.
You're like, get out of the water.
It was even worse than that. I mean, I was getting heart palpitations at the age of like 7. You know, I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, that's cute.
It was cute until you have a grabber.
I think the 90s really had the lock on scary videos when it came to things like Marilyn Manson and 9 Inch Nails and Tool. All of them really did a cool combination.
They did some like horror rock stuff.
Yeah, well, or Rob Zombie. And this is why I'm so disappointed in him as a director these days, is because he made such cool videos. He had such a cool live show. He has such a great horror sensibility. Somebody's got to get this guy the right script. They really do. And let him make another movie like House of a Thousand Corpses, because that's where he shines. Right.
Well, and Swami says the Necromantics, Who Killed the Cheerleader? Never heard of that. Julie P says Jaws scared the hell out of me. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Pixelvia says Jaws is a real perfect pulse raiser.
Pulse Raiser. I like that phrase. Pulse Raiser. That's the name of my cover band, I think I'm going to have someday.
Exactly.
Call ourselves Pulse Raiser.
Wesley calls out Tool, a song called Sober. Leb D says, I couldn't have handled Jaws at 7. I thought the Elephant Man was scary.
Ooh, yeah. That was, Again, that's a drama, but it did have, especially if you saw it when you were young, it had some very deeply intense, scary moments to it.
Yep. And Rex Gunn, I think, calls out the scariest artist of all, and that would be anything by Justin Bieber. Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy Osbourne. He really wasn't well, Sabbath was considered scary and kind of like, dark arts kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
People,
yeah.
Didn't even know what to make of Black Sabbath back in the 70s.
True. But I'm thinking more like 80s Ozzy, Shot in the Dark.
Yeah, that stuff is all.
Or even Iron
stuff.
Maiden. At the time, it wasn't pop. At the time, it was definitely considered very subversive. And, I was going to Catholic school then. And I remember this nun was like, I was listening to Ozzy Osbourne and she was just incensed. I mean, I was a troublemaker to begin with, the one whose mother would give her books about voodoo to do for book reports. And she was convinced I was going straight to hell. And the second she saw the Ozzy Osbourne tape, she just freaked out on me.
Seabart wants to know whose face is in the window behind you. You had to look.
I did. Thank you. It's Candyman.
Say it 4 more times.
I'm not saying it. That's the last time I'm saying that name.
Bob's Adventure says the Unsolved Mysteries theme song still gives me goosebumps. Huh.
Yeah, you know what? That was a really kind of spooky show. I remember watching that too and being kind of creeped out by it. Yeah. And it was a good creeped out. And you know what also creeped me out? What was it? Was it That's Incredible?
That's Incredible.
I don't remember. Was That's
show?
Incredible, or there was another one like Real People or True People or something from the 80s?
It was Real People.
Real People. And they had a show or an episode about people who were haunted.
Oh.
It was, like kind of an Amity kind of horror story. One of those. It was an early predecessor to something like, Ghost Hunters kind of thing. And I remember hearing this story about this family was being terrorized by an entity and thinking it was the scariest thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah. And Lebd says, I remember kids at my school said AC/DC was satanic. And I remember all that too.
Oh, yeah. Highway to Hell.
Said the same thing about Judas Priest.
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah. That they were a satanic band. And
right.
It was just like, people just didn't understand the music at the time.
No, I mean, anything different is scary. And that kind of heavy sound was enough to really, set off the alarms for a lot of people.
Swami calls out a song called Alice in Hell. Forgot who sung it. Have you ever heard Alice in Hell?
Alice in Hell.
I don't remember it.
I don't know, but we got to call out Alice Cooper.
Alice Cooper was
Come on, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Well, he was the king of horror rock.
He was.
I mean, look at his stage show. He was doing decapitations and all of this horror-themed theatrics.
Exactly, yeah.
Before anyone was. Mm-hmm. He was, I think, the first.
You know who in the 80s did a great horror-themed song? And you're going to laugh.
I'm laughing already.
I know. It was a band called Dangerous Toys.
Oh, Jesus.
Shut it for just a moment.
What a shit band.
They had a song called Scared. And it's a solid song with a really, it's cheesy, but it was a cool, creepy, scary video in the style of Alice Cooper. And they did it really well. I still to this day like Dangerous Toys. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. They were a cool band. Totally underrated.
I will say that band is scary. Okay, I'll agree with you on that.
Oh, good. Thanks. Thanks for that. That's exactly what I was hoping for.
Mad Kiwi says, I'm back washing concrete, truck out then to lunch, I think is what he's saying.
Oh, because it's lunchtime where he is.
Yes, he is. I always want to say, and he's going to kill me, it's New Zealand. But I always want to say Australia, and I know that's wrong.
And that would anger him.
I know
we don't want to do that. He's a nice person.
Container Man says Beetlejuice, and leaves the rest off.
Oh, Lebd is calling out Megadeth, Go to Hell. Yes, good call. I forgot about Megadeth. And they had another, they had an Area 51. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but that video kind of weirded me out. Like all the aliens and everything.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Wes actually sent me a song before we started the show earlier today.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
And it was something that he used to hear in school. And it was this kids choir.
Oh, a children's choir.
A children's choir singing this one song. And it was creepy as I don't remember what the song name was. Sorry about that, Wes. But the song that he sent me was like, oh my God, they played that for you in school? That is creepy as fuck.
But we used to sing in school for Halloween. It was this crazy thing my music teacher did. We would sing a song called Have You Seen the Ghost of John? And if you look it up, it's a very old song, and it has this sort of like, spooky chorus that moves along. And we'd sing it until we like got to the final chorus. And then, as kindergartners and first graders are very easily afraid. So she would, be hitting the sustain pedal on the piano. And so you'd hear it still continuing to play, and she'd take her hands off the keys,
that's a creepy
and we'd be like, it's
sound.
the ghost of John.
It could be creepy.
It was very creepy, but I distinctly remember that as one of my favorite Halloween memories. Just like the spookiness of the day and the unexpected, and just the potential of scariness.
We should close this out because I think we have like 8 minutes or so with hearing what everyone is going to be dressing as is Halloween.
Well, okay, that's kind of a tricky question.
Why?
I don't think it. Let's talk about your favorite Halloween costumes.
Oh, that you ever had?
Yes, because I know a lot of people aren't dressing up for Halloween this year. They're not going to parties or whatever.
Oh, that's a good point.
We're risk-taking assholes, so we're going to Halloween parties, but not everybody is an asshole like us. So.
This is true. This is
so
true.
Let's talk about your favorite Halloween costumes or costumes that you've seen that you think are cool. And I got to say, David, the producer, is dressing up as Ferris Bueller this week for our first party. And I am so excited to see this.
I'm pumped. I even got a wig.
You do? I know.
I got the wig.
We're going to put a wig on you.
I got the vest. I got the jacket.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it nailed.
You're going to be a badass Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. Oh, Toy Man. Oh, and I've seen this actually. He's worn this before on his channel. His favorite costume is his wolf costume. He's got this werewolf.
Oh yeah. That mask is badass.
That's a very expensive mask.
Spooky ass mask. And I also have to give a small fuck you to Bob's Adventure, and we'll leave it at that.
Why is that? Oh, he's going as the guy from. Could you read that for me?
You want me to read that to you?
Yeah, please. Could you?
Why do you hate me? All right. Bob's Adventure is going as the guy from the dental commercial. He calls it generic white guy.
How do you currently pay for your dental care?
If anything big happened, I'd have a real problem.
We had to pay our last big bill over time, and we're still paying.
Sound familiar?
I will send you everything in my prize closet if somebody dresses up as Debbie, the girl from the dental commercial, for Halloween. But you got to go full out. I mean, you got to be wearing the shirt. You got to have a kid sit in your lap.
Oh my God, Debbie the dental girl. If someone went at Halloween as that, well, first of all, no one would know what the hell that was.
No, of course not.
But
I just want to see a
makes it
photo.
great.
Just show me a fucking photo. I will send you everything in my prize closet.
Container Man says he's going as a fat truck driver. That's no fair.
That's not a costume. Pixel PA is saying, I make at least 3 different costumes each year, so I can't choose one, but I was Riff Raff. Oh, and you did a live reading of Rocky Horror. Now that
is cool.
Fucking cool. I love it.
Wow,
Riff
extra
Raff
points.
is just like badass. And the Time Warp song and video is one of my greatest joys in life. In fact, you know what? I think we're going to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show tonight. I love.
You could throw it up there.
Totally watching Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Hey, we have Roger
like
Wakefield joining us. Great to see you, Roger.
Nice to see you, Roger.
Yeah, we were just talking all things horror, and we're closing out the show right now with everyone talking about their favorite Halloween costume they've ever worn in their lives, or one that they saw.
Of. Yeah, and I see Lebdi is calling out, it would be fun to be Tommy Wiseau. Oh, yeah, you put on the black, wig and everything, and just walk around going, oh, hi, Mark.
I could do that all night.
You could. If I would say you should have been that if it wasn't an 80s themed party we were going to.
I'm going to drive you nuts, being Ferris Bueller. I'm going to be singing the whole night, Dankeschön. It's going to drive you nuts.
Thankfully, there's a DJ. Oh my God, I am paying the DJ all the money to put on Twist and Shout. Oh my God, y'all. And there will be video. I will video the shit out of that.
That's very kind of you.
And yes, Wes, it is just a jump to the left and a step to the right. Leb, you're tearing me apart, Lisa. Fuck, that movie is just genius on every level.
Roger the Drag Devil in 2010. Okay, Roger, it didn't happen without pictures. I want to see him on Twitter.
No, there are certain things we need proof. So you hashtag
All right.
that with Bourbon Soak Live and put it on Twitter.
Put it on Twitter. Hashtag Bourbon Soak Live. We will feature that next week. Rexcom wants to know, can I gender swap it? I have girl kids and I am a dude.
Do whatever you need to do to make it happen. As long as I know what it is. Yes, totally passable.
Totally passable. Roger also said I was bartender. Nice.
Awesome.
I want to see that, and I don't know why.
I feel like I've got a list that's still a mile long of things that I want to watch and things I want to do for Halloween. Just even like little things.
You have a whole week.
And we don't get trick-or-treaters here in the French Quarter of New Orleans because there are no children here, thank the Lord. But I did buy Halloween candy anyway because I can't have Halloween and not have fun-sized candy bars.
We're gonna hand it out to the girls walking the streets.
Yeah, they frown on showing your tits like deliberately now. It's kind of a touristy thing to do. But I think handing out candy to scantily clad women is a lovely idea.
As long as we pass it out from the back of a van, I think we'll be okay.
The back of a van?
Yeah.
Really?
It's got to be a white van. No windows.
They call those Amazon vans.
Actually, they do now.
They do. All right. And on that scary, scary note, y'all, I think it's time to wrap up the Halloween episode of Bourbon Soaked Live. So remember, if you have any other photos or if you happen to take a photo of you in a Halloween costume, I must see it. Post it to Twitter using hashtag Bourbon Soaked Live.
Oh, can I mention something that I did this week?
You did something this week.
I did. I was
something other than this.
Something other than this. I was the co-host on a podcast called Gutting the Sacred Cow. They had me come on and destroy the movie Dirty Dancing, which I was more than happy to do because I'm not a big fan of that movie.
Yeah, none of your points were valid, but you still
all
did a
my
good
points
job.
are valid. Tell me that Johnny Castle doesn't walk into every room leading in with his cock.
I see nothing wrong with that.
My point exactly.
Y'all. All right. Well,
if you get a chance, go out to guttingthesacredcow.com. It's the latest episode. It would be great for those guys.
If you want to dig through the Gutting the Sacred Cow archives, I was also a guest on the show. And
that's right.
Disemboweled the movie Scream, which I hate with every fiber of my being.
I forgot.
So, y'all, thank you for joining us tonight. I've had so much fun talking with y'all. Let me just say thank you to Bob's Adventures, who was first in the chat, followed very closely by Mad Kiwi. Ginger and Will, it's always awesome seeing you guys here. Wes, thank you for joining us. Container Man, always a treat.
Did you see the shape just popped in?
The shape. Oh, I love you. Thank you for being here. You were like my favorite ghost hunter ever.
Ghost, no, he's not a ghost hunter.
He's not a ghost hunter, and I say that ironically.
Yeah, that's true. Did you
yes,
say
you
hey
awesome.
to Roger?
So yes, Roger, thank you for joining us.
Leb D, Seabart, Wes, of course.
Toy Man, of
Toy
course.
Man, and how could you forget about Container Man?
I said hello to
Lots of
Container
man. Okay.
and thank you as well.
You got Wes. You got the real
And of
DJ
course,
Fruit Loops.
Malton in Montreal. Pleasure.
Swami. You always got to have Swami. You got to have Mad Kiwi. Pixel Pia. I know we're missing a whole bunch of people.
Rex
Julie
Gunn,
P.
of
Rex
course.
Gunn.
Cheers.
A whole bunch of people. So great for everyone coming out. And
Echoplex.
our buddy Dave over at Echoplex.
And Larry.
And you got Ginger, of course, and Will, right?
I always give love to Ginger
I
and
figured
Will.
as
They're
much.
like my favorite couple on this planet.
All right.
So y'all, make sure you are here next Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for another episode of Bourbon Soak Live. Also, I have a podcast. It's called The Unwritable Rant, and there is a killer, super duper scary story on this new episode that's out where all fine podcasts live. And y'all, make sure you have a very happy Halloween, no matter how you celebrate it, whether you're inside, whether you're outside. Just have fun and do something scary for me, okay? Cheers, y'all.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.